quick message before this video starts. We are hosting a giveaway in celebration of the launch of our new website, fact5.net. If you want to enter for a chance to win one of 10 Amazon gift card vouchers, then click the first link in the video description. Good luck.
During a live episode of Monday Night Raw on September 10, 2012, Jerry the King Lawler suffered a legitimate heart attack, causing him to collapse at the announcer's table. Paramedics quickly rushed to the scene and performed CPR on Lawler before he was moved backstage to be resuscitated. According to some backstage reports, Lawler was clinically dead for around 20 minutes before being brought back to life by a defibrillator. Thanks to the efforts of doctors and medical staff present on that day, Lawler's life was saved and he underwent an angioplasty in order to improve blood flow to his heart. 2 months following this, Lawler made his return to WWE. However, was interrupted by CM Punk and Paul Heyman, who made a mockery of his heart attack. Goldust, who is still going strong in the WWE to this day, hit his all-time low back in 2004, which saw him at death's door. In his book, Crossroads, Goldust Out of the Darkness, Goldust opened up about spending his money on coke, pills, and booze. Day in and day out, he drank half a gallon of vodka, ingested around 60 pills, and even took cocaine if that wasn't enough. Things got so bad that he even started buying more pills from drug dealers whenever he would run out, and went as far as taking a little cocaine before his matches. After a 3-day binge, Goldust finally realized that enough was enough and sought help from his father, the late Dusty Rhodes. After spending some time rehabilitating, Goldust is now drug and alcohol free as of May 2008 and is looking better than ever. In June of 2002, we could have lost one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time, Bret the Hitman Hart. Hart was riding at a high speed on his bike when he hit a pothole, causing him to fly over his handlebars and land hard on the back of his head. Hart was left completely paralyzed on the left side and suffered a stroke as the result of the accident. Fortunately, Hart was able to recover after months of physical therapy. However, he does suffer from emotional imbalance. This was not the only instance where Bret Hart escaped death, as he was a victim of prostate cancer back in early 2016. Thankfully, after a successful surgery, Bret Hart appeared to have beaten the disease as it did not spread to other areas of his body. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels nearly lost his life in a struggle with drug abuse during the late 90s and early 2000s. We would have never seen some of his greatest matches with the likes of Ric Flair, Chris Jericho, and The Undertaker. Imagine that. Actually, we wouldn't want to. During these dark times, Michaels would often get drunk and take drugs on a regular basis. But things got worse when he started to have suicidal thoughts. In fact, in his autobiography, Wrestling for My Life, The Legend, the Reality, and the Faith of a WWE Superstar, Michaels stated, "I was doing everything I could to kill myself except put a loaded weapon in my hand." Luckily, Michaels decided to stop before he could do any further harm to himself after his 2-year-old son noticed him unconscious on the couch and asked his mother why his father was sleeping all the time. The limousine-riding, jet-flying, kiss-stealing, wheelin'-dealin' son of a gun and 16-time world champion, Ric Flair escaped death back in 1975 when he was involved in a deadly plane crash in Wilmington, North Carolina. The fatal crash occurred when the Cessna aircraft ran out of fuel and crashed close to a mile from Wilmington Airport, claiming the life of the pilot and paralyzing Johnny Valentine, the father of Greg the Hammer Valentine. Flair suffered multiple lacerations and broke his back in 3 places. He was actually told by doctors that he would never wrestle again. However, he proved them wrong after months of physical therapy. The Nature Boy went on to recover and return to wrestling, where he feuded with Wahoo McDaniel, although he had to adapt his wrestling style. Earlier in the flight, Flair and Valentine, who became paralyzed as a result of the crash, swapped seats due to Flair constantly complaining. Had they not switched seats, Flair's career, legacy, and even the whole of the professional wrestling industry may have been entirely different to the one we all know today.